Okay, good afternoon or good day, should I say. Good morning, good afternoon, good day. Okay, so our topic would be your motor system since this was designated to be asynchronous on a Tuesday. Today is a Monday. Okay, recording for your lecture for tomorrow on Tuesday for Tuesday. Okay. So you'll have your motor system, you have finished your higher center. I believe you have also finished your sensory system. Okay, so basically now we'll go to your motor system. So you would what? You would do something. Okay, you would perform something voluntarily. When you feel something, that will be general senses. When you see something, that will be vision. When you heard something, then that will be hearing. When you tasted something, not delicious perhaps, or not according to your taste perhaps, okay, and all the other general senses, your balance, your smell, okay, then you would have to do something. Our objectives, okay, so you'll have to review the functional anatomy of the nervous system. We will have to go back towards the higher center. So make sure, okay, you know your higher center, both, functional anatomy of the physiology and your neuroanatomy. And then that's the time we discuss the descending pathways, the final common pathway, okay, in relation to your muscle physiology, in relation to your sensory pathways or your sensory physiology, okay? And then we'll have the reflexes. You have already studied your reflexes, your brainstem, as well as your uh, your brainstem reflexes and spinal cord reflexes in neuroanatomy. So basically, you are now what? You are now equipped with the general knowledge about neurophysiology. Okay, so this is the general concept on our motor activity. Okay, so you would see here that you have an idea. Okay, why do you have an idea? Because I have told you a while ago, you felt something, that's general senses. You saw something, that's vision. You smell something, that's olfaction. You tasted something, that's gustation. You saw something, that's vision again. Okay, you heard something, that will be all audition, and then perhaps there will be an imbalance, then that would be your vestibular senses. Okay, so you have an idea. It goes to your cortical association area for analysis, and then you will see here na ano. Okay, there will be three pathways or three what? Pasensya na kayo, may gumagawa yata sa mga kapitbahay ko. Okay, mukhang itinaon nila na ganitong araw gumawa, November 1, para supposedly nasa sementeryo sila, pero syempre sarado sementeryo, so they opted na gumawa ng bahay siguro. Anyway, so basically you know that your cortical association area processes all this information so that you'll be able to know the intensity, you'll be able to know the location, and all the other characteristics of the parameters. You'll see here that this analyzed general senses, or this analyzed general and special senses, would have to, okay, be channeled towards the basal nuclei. Again, nowadays we call them your nuclei because they are what? They are your collections of nerve cell bodies within the cerebrum. Others will be channeled towards impulses, will be channeled towards the lateral cerebellum. But most of them would go towards, or these impulses will now be sent towards your frontal lobe. You know that in your frontal lobe, you have what? Your different motor cortex, your primary motor area, okay? Your premotor area. You know that your premotor area will be responsible for planning of your complex movements, or should I say not planning, but what? Setting of posture of a planned movement. Not planning, hindi planning. Sila yung responsible para mag-set ng posture ng uh, you, a planned movement. So you set a posture, okay, of a planned motor activity. What will be responsible for planning will be the supplementary motor area. You know that your supplementary motor area is your area 6 and your area 8 on the medial side of your frontal lobe, diba? Now, after they have been planned, after they have been after impulses reaches your frontal lobe, particularly in your motor centers, okay, it will send impulses to your basal nuclei. Why? You know that your basal nuclei will be responsible for feedback mechanism. So, sasabihin nila kung okay ba yung iyong gagawing motor activity. And then it will also be going into your lateral cerebellum. The lateral cerebellum, you will see later on, it is called neocerebellum. The neocerebellum will be responsible as well with planning of motor movements with your cerebrum, with your supplementary motor area. Okay? After which, of course, they will send impulses now back to your motor area for you to execute the command. Of course, if you would need to move the entire body, of course, you know that your muscle is your effector, particularly anong muscle ito? We're not talking about autonomic nervous system, we're talking about somatic motor system. So yung muscle na pinag-uusapan natin, voluntary. At ano ang voluntary muscle? Ano nga ulit ang voluntary muscle? Okay? So basically, alam na alam nyo yan. We have talked about that in your muscle physiology. Okay? So, basically, you would also see that what? You'll have motor activities of your muscles of the face, muscles of facial expression, okay? So, that will be through your cranial nerves. Kaya nga, may magde-descend yung ibang fiber tracts towards the brainstem, then that's cortico-bulbar tract. For the brainstem, it's bulbar tract. Cortico-spinal tract, pagpapunta naman ng spinal cord. Okay? And then, while you're performing the activity, the brainstem, the spinal cord will send impulses to your intermediate cerebellum so that it will be able to correct the ongoing motor activity. Okay? Si lateral cerebellum, nag-feed forward na siya. Okay? Ibig sabihin, nag-anticipate na ng mistake or nag-anticipate na ng disturbance. But while performing the activity, okay, kinokorek pa rin, sinisigurado ni intermediate cerebellum or spinocerebellum or your paliocerebellum, okay, na you are performing the correct planned motor activity. So you would see this, okay, this arrow diagram is coming from the old Ganong. Sa new Ganong, wala na itong arrow diagram na ito. Sayang. Okay? Sa old Ganong, nandoon yung arrow diagram na ito. I believe that will be 23rd edition. Okay? 24th, 25th edition, wala na itong arrow diagram na ito. Okay? So now, you would now know that what? For us to perform a voluntary motor activity, there are a lot of impulses and there will be a lot of neural structures. Okay, there are a lot of neural structures that would usually be recruited. Okay, so karaniwan ganyan yon. Okay, so pag nakita nyo yan, we will now be what? We will now have the 5 motor centers. Okay, so you'll have the neural areas of your voluntary activities. Okay, of course, It involves the motor area, the cortical association area. That would be your cerebrum. Diba? So that will be your cerebrum. Inside the cerebrum will be your basal nucleus. That's number 2. And then, of course, you also have your cerebellum that will be responsible for feed-forward mechanisms. Okay? So, makikita mo dyan na ano, na sandali lang. Okay? Makikita mo dyan na again, your neural areas. Okay? So, your cerebrum, your basal nuclei, your cerebellum, and then of course you'll have your brainstem and you'll have your spinal cord. So you now have the 5 neural areas of your somatic motor activities. Okay. Next, so again, your motor functions or your neural areas of motor activities, your cerebral cortex, your basal nuclei, your cerebellum, your brainstem, and your spinal cord. Okay? So, punta tayo sa motor cortex or sa cerebral area. Sa cerebrum, particularly the motor cortex. You have here your central sulcus of Rolando. You know that it divides your cerebrum into your frontal lobe and your parietal lobe. And you have here your lateral sylvian fissure. You're supposed to be like this. Okay? Which will divide your temporal lobe from frontal, temporal lobe from parietal. Okay? And because motor ang pinag-uusapan natin, ang pag-uusapan natin will be the frontal lobe, particularly the frontal lobe. So, paano yan? Okay? Again, you'll have the central, ito pala yung central sulcus of Rolando. Again, you'll have the central sulcus of Rolando. Okay? Erase natin ito. So again, you'll have the central sulcus of Rolando. You'll have here your precentral gyrus, which is area, Brodmann's area 4. That would be your primary motor area. Anterior to that, most of your middle frontal and a portion of your superior frontal will be, most of your middle frontal and an area of superior frontal will be your Brodmann's area 6. That's your premotor area. Diba? Pag nasira yan, napag-aralan ninyo sa functional anatomy or sa higher center, pag nasira ang Brodmann's area 6, you will have the so-called motor apraxia. Diba? Ano yun? Ayan, may mga kumakahol-kahol kung saan-saan. Anyway, so basically, pag motor apraxia, yan yung when you command on someone to perform a certain activity, they will not be able to do so. Pero pagka they would do it on their own, they are able to perform it on their own. Pag sila lang, motor apraxia yon. Okay? And then your superior frontal gyrus will be forming your frontal eye field area. Okay, you know that this is responsible for horizontal gaze. So pag kayo ay lilingon, or should I say, kayo ay titingin sa sides ninyo without moving your head, then that's horizontal gaze. And what will be responsible for that will be your Brodmann's area 8. Okay, now this Brodmann's area 8 and Brodmann's area 6 on the medial side. Kaya nga black ito or gray ito. It means it is Brodmann's area 6 and 8 on the medial side. That will be your supplementary motor area. Okay? They will be responsible for mental rehearsal of a planned motor activity. And mind you that you needed a stronger stimuli or stronger stimulus for you to be able to perform what has been mentally rehearsed. So, kailangan bilaterally involved ang inyong supplementary motor area, and then dapat stronger stimulus para at least you will be able to perform a planned motor activity. Okay? Yan yung mga areas ninyo na pinag-uusapan natin pagdating sa somatic motor system or your descending fiber tract. In your neuroanatomy, it is lectured as descending fiber tract. Okay, now, what else? Anong importante dito? Okay, blood supply, syempre. You know that the blood supply to your cerebrum is your ICA, your internal carotid artery. Your internal carotid artery has they have two, or these ones, or the two ICAs, of course, okay, the left and the right. The internal carotid artery would have two terminal branches. One will be the anterior cerebral artery, the ACA, and one will be the middle cerebral artery, the MCA. Okay, so the anterior cerebral artery will supply the medial side of the cerebrum, and the middle cerebral artery will supply the lateral side of your cerebrum. Okay, so lateral side yan, may mga branches yan. But of course, you'll have the posterior portion. Okay, this is supplied by your posterior cerebral artery. Commonly, they form anastomosis with some of the branches of your middle cerebral artery. That is why this portion here, okay, the inferior parietal lobule is dually, it has dual blood supply. One coming from the middle cerebral artery, the other one coming from the posterior cerebral artery. Kaya hindi kayo basta-basta nagkakaroon ng sensory aphasia, or hindi kayo basta-basta nagkakaroon ng Wernicke's aphasia. Okay? Ganun yon. Ano pa yung mga portions dito? Okay? If you have here your superior frontal, this is the middle frontal, so this is the inferior frontal gyrus. It has three lobules. Okay? The pars opercularis, the pars triangularis, so supposedly triangle yan, and the pars orbitalis. Okay? Ito opercularis. Malapit sa lip. Now, the pars opercularis and the pars triangularis will form your Broca's area. O, napag-aralan nyo ito sa inyong higher center. At para saan siya? They will be responsible for regulating voluntary motor activities. Kaya nga, I say, voluntary motor activities of talking. So, kaya ngayon, yung voluntary motor activities for talking ko, yung Broca's area ko, would be the ones responsible for regulating the movement of that will be for regulating the innervations of cranial nerve number 7, number 9, number 10 on my muscles of facial expression, muscles of phonation. Okay, so they would be responsible for these motor activities. Okay. And of course, pag nasira yan, you develop Broca's aphasia, or what we call as what? We also call that your Broca's aphasia as your ano yung mga pangalan niyan? Non-fluent aphasia, di ba? Pag-aralan niyo na ito sa higher center. You also call them non-fluent aphasia, or you also call them anterior aphasia. Bakit anterior? If this is your Broca's area, Brodmann's areas 44 and 45, that will be 44 and 45. Oh. So, kaya yan anterior kasi bakit? Nandito yung Wernicke's area, which is more posterior. Diba? So, your non-fluent aphasia, your anterior aphasia, your expressive aphasia. Okay. Expressive as compared to the sense to the receptive aphasia. And then we also call them your motor aphasia. Motor aphasia. So basically, yan yung mga pwedeng tawag sa kanya. Broca, non-fluent, anterior, expressive, or your motor aphasia. Ibig sabihin, it ranges from mild to severe. Pagka mga mild yan, pwede pang makapagsalita yan ng maayos, pero kulang siya ng articles. Katulad ng punta, ako, lengke. Diba? So, nawawalan ng articles. Mga mild form yun. Okay? Pag mga severe form na, halos di mo na sila maintindihan kasi bakit? They would look like what? The old, yung mga Neanderthal man, yung mga caveman nung unang panahon na gumaganon-ganon lang sila. Okay, they would have the so-called neologism. They will have the so-called echolalia. Paulit-ulit, paulit-ulit. O kayo, paulit-ulit ba kayong nagko-command sa jowa ninyo? Baka meron kayong brochus aphasia, echolalia. Diba? So, these are motor activities, or should I say, motor areas in your frontal lobe. So, basically, again, yan yung inyong blood supply. Ito yung inyong homunculus. Okay, so this is your motor homunculus. As you can see, ito yung kanyang lateral side, ito yung kanyang medial side. Ano na nga yung blood supply dito? Ano na nga yung blood supply sa medial side? At ano na nga ang blood supply sa lateral side? Sige nga, ano yung blood supply? Para hindi lang kayo basta-basta nakikinig, pag pinaulit-ulit ninyo itong panonood nyo dito sa lecture na ito, at least nag-i-exercise kayo. Nag-i-exercise ang utak ninyo para mas naiintindihan ninyo. These two blood vessels are terminal branches of internal carotid artery. So basically, sila yung mga nagsusupply dyan. Kaya nga hindi ba, pag may embolus ka sa internal carotid artery, tendency is, you do not supply the lateral side, you do not supply the medial side. Contralaterally. So, ano ba yung nire-represent dito? Ayan sa lateral side, yan yung nire-represent niya hanggang hips. That's the superior pole of your cerebrum. Okay, so yan yung superior pole ng cerebrum mo. Okay. On the medial side, you'll have this structure or structures. So you know that the left will be represented, or the left representations, or the left body representation, that will be the body representations on the left side of your cerebrum are the ones found on the left, and vice versa. Yung mga nasa right body representations mo naman, that will be the body representations on the right hemisphere, will be the left side of the body. So kung ito ay left side, then yung mga representations na yan ay right side ng body. Kaya nga, anong mangyayari? If you have an embolus or a thrombus, pwede namang thrombus, pwede namang embolus, hindi na bago sa inyo ito, Fishobi na kayo, na pagdaanan nyo na yung difference ng thrombus at yung embolus, di ba? So, if you have an embolus or a thrombus in your internal carotid artery, kumusta ang blood supply dito? Kumusta yung blood supply dito? Anong ang blood supply yan? Anong ang blood supply yan? Balikan ninyo. Hindi ko laging nandito para makikinig lang kayo, matutulog lang kayo niyan. So, kailangan nag-i-exercise ang utak ninyo para mas natatandaan ninyo. So, ano mangyayari? Di-paralyzed yung right side niya from head down to your feet, or down to your foot, should I say. Diba? So, depende yan kung spastic paralysis, kung flaccid paralysis. Diba? So, depende yan sa level. Pero ito, dahil, for example, nasa level ito ng cerebrum, so you destroy the anterior corticospinal tract. So long as you do not destroy the rubrospinal tract, then most likely this is what? Anong klaseng paralysis yon or rigidity yon? Okay? You will develop, or the patient will develop spastic paralysis, pero yung posturing ng spastic paralysis niya will be decorticated. Pag sinabi nating decorticated, the upper extremities are flexed and the lower extremities are extended. Or should I say, are, para namang dami-dami ninyong extremities na left. Okay? The upper extremity is flexed, The upper extremity is flexed and the lower extremity is extended contralaterally. Yun yung sinasabi nating decorticated. Pwede namang bilateral, lalo na kung mga trauma yan to the head, na vehicular accident. Pwede namang decorticated, parehong sides. Pero ito, since stroke ito on the left side of the cerebrum, di syempre, anong side ang affected ng body natin? Anong side? Anong laterality? O, sagutin nyo yan ha. Dapat alam nyo yan. Okay? Sinabi na natin. Okay. So, that is your motor homunculus. Siyempre, ito yung sensory homunculus. O, so, makikita ninyo, halos magkaparehas lang. The only difference is, in sensory homunculus, ano yun? Yung hands, specifically represented itong thumb. Itong face, specifically represented yung lips. Diba? Samantalang pag motor, walang specific representations. Okay? Generally, that's the entire hand and the entire face. So, walang specificities ng face or whatever. Walang specificities ng hand or whatever din. Okay? So, again, your somatic. And then again, your premotor area, sinabi ko na sa inyo kanina, it says posture of a planned movement. O meron din daw doon sa area na yon. Ang major input nito ay posterior parietal cortex. Okay. And the the output is chiefly influenced by medial descending pathway. I'll show you that later on, yung medial descending pathway na yan. Supplementary motor area, sabi ko nga sa inyo, you need a stronger stimuli, okay, to cause or to make your planned movement effective, or should I say, to make your planned movement possible, to execute your planned movement. Okay? So they are responsible for mental rehearsal of a planned movement. So you need bilateral cerebrum. Okay? So ito yung sinasabi natin, yung frontal eye field area, Brodmann's area number, ayan, sinulat ko na, Brodmann's area number 8. Oh, tapos Broca's area. Oh. Tapos, excuse me, meron daw, okay, sa kay Guyton, meron daw kasing head rotation area, meron daw hand skills area, when in fact, it is already included in your homunculus. So basically, it's already included in your homunculus. By the way, another thing, Broca's area, it is most active in your dominant hemisphere. So basically, pag ang dominant hemisphere mo ay left side, which commonly sa atin 98% ng 90 to 98%, or should I say 90 to 95% of right-handed individuals, ang kanilang dominant hemisphere ay left. Tapos 75 or 70% of left-handed individuals, ang dominant hemisphere ay ang dominant hemisphere ng mga 70% ng left-handed individuals pagkaliwete, still the left 70%. Only 15% have dominancy of the right hemisphere. Okay. And 15% are commonly ambidextrous or walang dominancy. Okay, lalo na sa mga ambidextrous dyan. Kayang magsulat, kayang gumawa ang left and right nila ng sabay with the same magnitude of that will be force of contraction. Okay? Ganun yon. So, yung Broca's area ninyo, it's located in both hemisphere, but it is more active in the dominant hemisphere. Kaya nga pag nasisira yung dominant hemisphere, saka lang nagkakaroon ng Broca's aphasia. Pag walang sira ang dominant hemisphere, then walang Broca's aphasia. Mapapansin nyo yan sa mga pasyente ninyo in the future. Supposedly, kayo ay may pasyente na in the future at hindi na kayo online. O, ito, sagutin natin tong case 1. Sabi dito, An embolus on the middle cerebral artery. So ano ulit nga ang sinusuplayan ng middle cerebral artery? Will most likely present with which of the following? Paralyzed ba ang upper and lower extremities nila? Middle cerebral artery yan. Paralyzed ang upper, weak ba ang lower? Paralyzed ang lower, weak ba ang upper? O parehong weak ang upper and lower extremities kung, okay, if you destroy or you have an embolus, so merong bara, okay, sa middle cerebral artery. Okay? Kayo yung sumagot niyan, di ko yan sasagutin, bahala kayo, ha? Lahat ng lecture na ito, tandaan ninyo, kasi meron tayong 1-hour meeting by next week, November, November ba yun? That will be 1 plus 2 plus 1 plus 7, 2, 7. November 9. Okay? 1 hour lang yon, so summary lang yon ng mga dapat nating, or summary lang yon, should I say, ng mga napag-aralan natin ngayon, pinapanood nyo ngayon. Ha? Okay. So, after, so makikita natin dito, di ba? So, natapos natin ang alin? Natapos natin ang cerebral cortex. Sana tayo susunod? Basal nuclei na. Ha? So, let's go to your basal nuclei. Ay, premotor area yan. So, punta tayo sa basal nuclei. Tawag natin basal ganglia, when in fact it should be nucleus. Bakit nucleus? Okay, or nuclei, should I say, kasi madami sila. The caudate, the putamen, and the globus pallidus are all seen inside the white matter of the cerebrum. So, dapat ang tawag sa kanila ay nucleus or nuclei. Ando doon yung nerve cell bodies nila, or pericardion, nerve cell body, or soma. Diba, pag collection ng mga soma or nerve cell body in the central nervous system, you call them nucleus, nuclei, syempre plural. At dahil marami yan, nuclei yan, basal ganglia kasi, kaya basal nuclei. Ano yon? You call them your corpus striatum. And the corpus striatum, diba? The corpus striatum is divided into neostriatum. So, hindi lang cerebellum ang may neo, di ba? And your paliostriatum. Okay? Your neostriatum is your caudate and your putamen, or you simply call them your striate body, okay? Or simply striatum. Pag sinabi mong striatum lang, ibig sabihin, you're talking about the caudate and the putamen. Pag paliostriatum, then it will be your globus pallidus, yung paliostriatum. Okay. However, okay, grossly, pag nakita mo sila, ang talagang magkatabi ay si putamen at si globus pallidus. When you cut them cross-sectionally. So, you will call them your lentiform nucleus. So, the putamen and the globus pallidus cross-sectionally are called lentiform or lenticular nucleus. And then you have here your functionally related nuclei, of course, your subthalamus, your substantia nigra, and your thalamic nuclei, which are your ventroanterior and your ventrolateral nuclei. O, natapos ninyo sa sensory, meron kayong ventroposterior, di ba? O, ito ventroanterior. You cannot, in neurology, sabi ko sa inyo before, you cannot interchange anterior and ventral. You cannot interchange dorsal and posterior. Magkaiba yan. Di ba? Sabi ko nga sa inyo, if you have your thalami, di ba? The left and right thalamus, kunwari, naka-top view kayo. Pag naka-top view kayo, may makikita kayong Y shape. Okay? O, parang symbol ng peace or para ding tsinelas na magkakawatak-watak. So, meron kayong your thalamus, okay? Divided into, this is top view, anterior, lateral, and medial compartments. Okay? So you'll have your anterior group of nuclei, your lateral, and your medial. Ito din. Medial, ito yung lateral, ito yung anterior. Okay? Now, that will be your internal medullary lamina. Okay? Ngayon, anong meron dyan? Hindi ba yung lateral, dinivide ninyo into what? Lateral, anterolateral, diba? Or should I say, sorry, yung lateral, dinivide ninyo into dorsal tier and your ventral tier. The ventral will be divided into ventroanterior, ventrolateral, and ventromedial. Natapos ninyo itong, ventromedial. Sorry. Naantok ako. Ventroposterior, should I say. Ba? Ventroanterior, ventroposterior, at saka ventrolateral. So, that's the ventral tier. Ventral tier kasi yan. Yung posterior further divided into ventroposteromedial and ventroposterolateral. Yung ventroposteromedial, sensory yan. Yung ventroposterolateral, sensory din yan. Di ba? However, the lateral nucleus, or should I say the ventrolateral nucleus, will be motor in function. The ventroanterior nucleus will be motor in function. And of course, the other nuclei of your thalamus, your what's that? Your dorsal tier nuclei, your medial nuclear group of nuclei. Okay. So basically, dito makikita ninyo, hindi natin pwedeng pagbaligtarin ang ventral at saka anterior kasi magkaiba yon. Iba ang ventroanterior. Natapos nyo itong ventroposterior para yan sa sensory. Ngayon, pinag-aaralan natin ang ventroanterior at ventrolateral para yan sa motor. So, you'll have the motor activity. Anteroventral kasi, para yan sa emotions. Para yan sa memory. It is part of what? It is part of, anong part yan? Part siya ng limbic system. Part siya ng limbic system. So, pag sinabi mong anteroventral, yung pala, you wanted to mean ventroanterior, sasabihin mo sa consultant mo ng neuro, Doc, meron po siyang damage ng anteroventral nuclei. So, ang ine-expect ng neuro mo, pag nakita niya yung pasyente, may problema sa emotion, may problema sa outlook in life pag in-interview, pero walang paralysis. Kasi ang sabi mo, anteroventral eh. Pero pag sinabi mong ventroanterior, then ine-expect niya may paralysis. Paano pag sinabi mo anteroventral, hindi mo sinabing ventroanterior, nag-e-expect yung consultant mo ng paralysis, or should I say, hindi nag-e-expect ang consultant mo ng paralysis, eventually makikita niya may paralyzed na pasyente doon. Would that be correct? So, iingatan nyo yan, ha? Pag nasa neuro kayo, ha? Bawal nagbabali-baliktad ang ventral, anterior, dorsal, at saka posterior. So, you'll see here, sabi ko sa inyo di ba? Ito si caudate, ito si thalamus, ito si putamen. Yan ang putamen. Itong dalawa, si globus pallidus yan. Diba? Ano po yun? Bakit dalawa po yung globus pallidus? The globus pallidus is separated from your putamen by means of this fissure. Diba? That is your external medullary lamina. The internal medullary lamina in your thalamus will separate your globus pallidus externa and your globus pallidus interna. Or your lateral, this is considered lateral, globus pallidus, and of course, this is considered the medial globus pallidus. Okay? Nakita ninyo, ayan si caudate, ito si putamen, magkalayo sila. Pero sa ilalim niyan, magkadikit sila, magkasama sila. Pero dito sa cross-section ng cerebral hemisphere, hinihiwalay sila ng internal capsule, the anterior horn and the posterior horn of your internal capsule. Of course, you know that is your genu. Okay? So, yan yung inyong basal nuclei. Diba? Your caudate, your putamen, your globus pallidus. They are your basal nuclei. Oh. So ito, this is coming from my clips. Ito mismo ay akin, kaya hindi ko na nilalagyan ng referencing. Okay? Makikita nyo dyan if this is lateral. So ito yung inyong, that will be your longitudinal fissure that will divide your cerebrum into left and right halves. Of course, this ones will be your, yung Y shape na yan would be your lateral ventricle. Of course, this is, paano ba yan? This is anterior, this is posterior. So meron kang anterior horn, meron kang posterior horn. Sa loob niya, ito. Yan. Ano yan? Ano yan? Okay, yan. Ano ito? Okay, that will be the one that produces your CSF. That's your choroid plexus. Your choroid plexus. Diba? So, ito yung caudate mo dyan. Ito yung thalamus mo. Ito yung anterior horn. Ito yung posterior horn ng internal capsule. Tapos, syempre, ito yung globus pallidus. Ito yung putamen. So, makikita mo ngayon yung relationships nila. Diba? So, kitang-kita siya. Ay, nako. Antok ako So, again, you'll see here your your caudate. Okay, makita ninyo. Malaki yung thalamus ninyo. And then, you'll have your, sabi dyan, internal capsule. With your globus pallidus interna, your putamen. Okay? Yung caudate. Kitang-kita nyo dyan. And then, of course, you have here your, ano yan? Brainstem. Specifically, anong part ng brainstem? Ano ba yung tatlong parts ng brainstem ninyo? You have your midbrain, your pons, and your medulla oblongata. Diba? So, yung midbrain mo, ito yung, dahil nakadiagonal yan, ito yung dorsal, ito yung ventral. Diba? More rostral or more anterior, makikita mo doon yung, ano ba yun? Associated sila sa thalamus. Pababa, associated siya sa midbrain and the lower pons, hanggang pababa na ng pababa yun from the thalamus down to your thalamus tuloy. From the midbrain down to your pons, down to your medulla oblongata. Now, ano ang meron sa midbrain? Okay? Pag upper midbrain, makakakita ka ng dalawang ganyan. That's your red nucleus. Yung dalawang bilog na yan ay red nucleus. Tapos, of course, this is your crus cerebri or your cerebral peduncle. Okay? Now, you will see that you have there a substantia nigra. Okay, nigra yan. Okay. Meron ka dyang substantia nigra separating your pars reticulata from pars compacta. Compact. Okay. So, ano ang ginagawa ng substantia nigra? Nagpo-produce ng glutamate. Okay. So, nagpo-produce yan ng glutamate. I'm sorry, glutamate. Inaantok talaga ako. I'm sorry. Hindi glutamate ang pinoproduce niyan. Sorry. Inaantok ako. Okay? Ayan. Nagpo-produce siya ng GABA. GABA ba? Sorry. Ang bobo ko. Naantok talaga ako. Dopamine ang pinoproduce niya. Anong ginagawa ko? Sorry, inaantok ako. Puproduce siya ng dopamine. So it is producing dopamine. That is why in your paralysis agitans, ano yung paralysis agitans? You commonly call it your Parkinson's disease. Your Parkinson's disease or your paralysis agitans, nasisira ang substantia nigra. So, it is really the substantia nigra that is destroyed. That's why you don't have any dopamine in patients with paralysis agitans or your Parkinson's disease. Okay? Ang laging choices ninyo doon ay basal nuclei, di ba? Yung mga neostriatum, striatum, yan ang mga choices ninyo. Kaya pag tinatanong sa inyo, nasa choices ninyo, ano yung dahilan kung bakit merong Parkinson's disease? Ang lagi ninyong sineshade ay basal nuclei, basal ganglia. When in fact, it has something to do with basal ganglia provided na dahil sa influence ng dopamine. Pero sa totoo lang, ang sira pag meron kayong Parkinson's disease ay hindi naman talaga basal ganglia. Ang talagang sira ay yung upper midbrain, lower midbrain mo kasi yung crus cerebri niya wala ng melanin. Okay? Kaya yan tinatawag na substantia nigra. Kaya yan nigra. It's because of the black color. And the black color is due to high concentrations of melanin. Okay? And they will be the one that will produce your dopamine. Ganun yon. Ngayon, pag light na yung color niyan, pag sa MRI, anong nangyayari? Ibig sabihin, nauubos na hindi naman nauubos, nasisira na ang substantia nigra, wala nang gaanong dopamine, that will influence the activity of basal nuclei. Papakita ko sa inyo mamaya. Okay? So, pagka pinag-usapan natin paralysis agitans, aka also known as your Parkinson's disease, okay? Hindi basal nuclei ang sira, ha? It's the midbrain, specifically the substantia nigra on the crus cerebri of the midbrain. Both the upper and lower midbrain yan, ha? Next. So, yan ulit. This is a cross-section of your midbrain at the level of the upper midbrain. Kitang-kita nyo yung dalawang. Sayang kung meron kayong face-to-face ngayon, nakikita nyo ito ng totoo. Live specimen. You have your two red nuclei. Pag may nakita kayong red nuclei, you know you are at the level of upper midbrain or rostral midbrain. Makikita nyo ito, black ang color niya, no? Black. That's your substantia nigra. Pag may Parkinson's disease kayo, wala yung black na yan dyan. Puti yan or kakulay nito. Okay? Ganun yon. And then, of course, yan ulit yung inyong level ng upper midbrain. And then, you'll have the lower midbrain. Okay? Sa lower midbrain, wala na yung dalawa. Isa na lang siya. You call that your decussation of the superior cerebellar peduncle. Nakuha nyo yan sa neuroanatomy. The decussation of the superior cerebellar peduncle. But, hindi natin yan pakikialaman. Ang pakikialaman natin ulit, itong nigra na ito. Your substantia nigra. Okay? So, meron kang substantia nigra sa level ng upper midbrain at meron kang substantia nigra sa level ng lower midbrain. Okay? So, paano yan? Pag-aralan natin. Ito yung lumang pathway ng basal nuclei. Ito yung bago-bagong pathway ng basal nuclei. Pero, ito yung pag-aaralan natin. Paano natin pag-aaralan yan? Paano ba ako kukuha ng space? Walang may space dito. Sandali lang. Lagay lang ako ng space, ha? Lagay ako ng space. Gusto ng space, pues pumunta sa outer space. Okay, so paano nag-work ang basal nuclei? This is how it works. First, di ba kanina sabi natin, cerebrum? Yung unang-unang slide natin ng arrow diagram, di ba meron doong association area, di ba? Tapos, motor areas, di ba? From the motor areas, from the association areas, yun yung cerebrum area mo, di ba? From the cerebrum, it will form communications with, it will send impulses with your basal nuclei, particularly the striatum. Anong striatum po ulit? Ano yung parts? Ano yung mga striatum na yon? Yung putamen at saka yung caudate. Your caudate and putamen. Oh. And then what? Gawin muna natin yung mga communications nila, ha? The caudate and putamen, that will be your striatum. Diba? Ito yung cerebrum. Okay. Will send impulses to your globus pallidus externa. Will send impulses to your globus pallidus interna. The globus pallidus externa regulates the activity of the subthalamus and regulates the activity of the globus pallidus interna. And the subthalamus will also regulate the activities of your globus pallidus interna. The globus pallidus interna, on the other hand, will regulate the activity of the thalamus. And the thalamus will feed back on the cerebrum. It will feed back on the cerebrum. So, paano yung mga yan? The cerebrum releases glutamate towards putamen and caudate. So, glutamate, ano yan? Excitatory, inhibitory. Okay? Then, after which, the putamen and the caudate will be stimulated. Anong mangyayari sa kanila? Okay? They will be the one that will release GABA. Okay? Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito ay more on putamen. There are 5 pathways of the striatum. Okay? Only that we will just be studying the 2 pathways of your basal nuclei. Okay? More on putamen ito kasi voluntary activity. Pag ito ay involuntary, meaning reflex, okay, tapos meron kasamang emotions, then that will be the caudate. Pero ito, since pag walang kasamang emotion, naghawak lang kayo, tapos nag-perform ng motor activity, then it is more of putamen. So, they will release GABA, whether putamen naman or caudate. Okay? They will release GABA on both interna and externa. Nag-release ka ng GABA sa externa. Therefore, GABA is what? Ang GABA ay inhibitory, excitatory. Diba? Nakakaantok itong wala kang kausap kundi nagre-record ka lang. Walang nagre-reply sa iyo. Ako ang inaantok dito. Okay? So, the GABA is inhibitory. It inhibits globus pallidus externa. Ano ba kasi ang nire-release ni globus pallidus externa? It will also release GABA to subthalamus. It also releases GABA to globus pallidus interna. So, pag ininhibit mo yan, di ba? Nag-release ng GABA kay putamen. Si putamen nag-release ng GABA kay globus pallidus externa. Then, globus pallidus externa is inhibited. Dahil inhibited yan, kumusta ang GABA? Wala silang GABAng i-release. Dahil walang GABAng in-release, anong mangyayari kay subthalamus? Then, the subthalamus is disinhibited. Diba dapat may GABA siya dyan? Diba dapat may GABA? Dapat may GABA. Diba? Kaso nga lang, GABA inhibited externa, Dahil na-inhibit siya, walang GABA. Instead, anong i-release niya? Magre-release siya, anong i-release niya? Instead, subthalamus is what? Walang GABA, walang nag-inhibit kay subthalamus, so the subthalamus is disinhibited. Ano bang nire-release ni subthalamus? Glutamate. So, nagre-release siya ng glutamate papunta kay externa. Because it is disinhibited o inhibited si externa, dahil inhibited, walang GABA, wala. Then, the subthalamus is disinhibited. Magre-release siya ng glutamate kay interna. O, nag-release siya ng glutamate kay interna. Anong ginawa ni interna? Mag-release ng GABA. Aside from that, makikita ninyo, hindi ba? Kanina, dapat meron niyang GABA towards interna. Walang GABA ngayon. So, interna is not inhibited and is stimulated. Not inhibited kasi dapat may GABA yan, di ba? Walang GABA ngayon. Walang GABA. Dahil na-inhibit, Walang GABA papuntang subthalamus, walang GABA papunta ng interna, si subthalamus disinhibited, magre-release ng glutamate, stimulate niya si interna. At the same time, si interna disinhibited, magre-release siya ngayon ng GABA. Disinhibited pala siya So, anong mangyari sa GABA? GABA will inhibit thalamus. Thalamus is supposed to release glutamate. It is supposed to release glutamate towards the cerebrum. Para sabihin ni thalamus sana, sige, gumalaw ka. Kaso ngayon may GABA. Dahil may GABA, thalamus is inhibited. Kumusta yung glutamate na i-release niya? Wala. Therefore, the cerebrum is not stimulated. Hindi siya stimulated. Ano ngayon ang mangyayari? Di wala, hindi ka gagalaw. Kaya pag globus pallidus externa ang nag-predominate, hindi ka gagalaw. Hindi ka gagalaw. Okay. Dahil hindi ka gagalaw, ano mangyayari? Di stationary ka. Yan yun. Kung minsan yan yung mga, di ba, mga katatonia ng mga psychiatric patients. In mental institutions. Ang tawag natin sa pathway na ito, basically, ang tawag natin sa pathway na ito ay indirect pathway. Indirect. Ang haba pa ng pinuntahan. Paano naman yung direct? So, the other one is direct pathway. Ano yon? Nag-release ng glutamate papunta kay caudate at putamen, more on putamen. Ano mangyayari? Magre-release siya ng GABA kay interna. Nag-release siya ng GABA kay interna. So, na-inhibit siya. Dahil na-inhibit siya, hindi siya magre-release ng GABA. Hindi siya magre-release ng GABA, thalamus ngayon, disinhibited. Magre-release ngayon ng glutamate. Para gagalaw ka. Kaya pag galaw ng galaw, increase ang motor activity, increase ang direct pathway niya. Okay. Pag direct pathway, ayan. Ito, indirect pathway. Pag puro direct pathway ng direct pathway, hindi din naman pwede. Diba? Kasi magkakaroon ka ng tinatawag na hyperkinesia. Diba? Magkakaroon ka ng tinatawag na hyperkinesia. Pag puro indirect pathway naman, magkakaroon ka ng hypokinesia. So, makikita natin, the cerebral activity will be regulated by your basal nuclei. Okay? Para magkaroon ng hyperkinesia at saka akinesia. Or should I say, hyperkinesia and hypokinesia. May mga hypokinetic disorders kayo, may mga hyperkinetic disorders kayo, at meron kayong akinesia. Pag sinabi nating akinesia, supposedly, ang ibig sabihin ng a or an in Latin is without. Ito, akinesia, so without kinetics. Actually, meron namang kinetics. Kaso nga lang, There is difficulty of starting and there is difficulty of stopping a movement. Okay? O, yan yung inyong basal nuclei. Nasaan po ngayon dyan yung ano? Nasaan po yung effect nung dopamine? O, lagyan natin ang effect ng dopamine. O, lagay natin yung normal, ha? Lagay natin yung normal. Nakakantok itong ano? Nakakantok itong walang audience. O. So, nasaan ang role ni dopamine? Si dopamine ngayon from substantia nigra, nag-release ng dopamine. Your dopamine has 5 receptors. Okay? Your dopamine has 5 receptors. That will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. All add numbers. Or should I? All add numbers. Mali. Numbers, dopamines 1 and 5 are GS. So, G stimulatory ano yun? G stimulatory protein yun. While your G2, 3, and 4 are GI. Okay? So, yung dopamine receptors ninyo, yung dopamine 1 and 5, GS. Yung 2, 3, and 4, GI. Okay? 2, 3, and 4, GI. Oh. Anong gagawin nila ngayon? So, you now have your dopamine. Si substantia nigra, dali. Ay, nakakantok. Si substantia nigra, nag-release ng dopamine. Oh, anong meron? If you're talking about putamen to globus pallidus externa, the putamino pallido external pathway is G2. The putamino pallido internal pathway, on the other hand, globus pallidus interna. O, nawala yung globus pallidus interna dito. The pallido, okay, the putamino pallido external pathway, ano yung nire-release niya? Ang nandiyan G2. Dahil G2, anong meron nun? Si dopamine, pag nag-act sa D2, GI, inhibited siya. Diba? Unlike si dopamine, pag nag-act sa putamino pallido internal pathway, G1 yan. O, pag nag-act ngayon si dopamine kay G1, excitatory yon, may excite si globus pallidus externa, di magre-release siya ng GABA. Di ba? I'm sorry, na-stimulate. Ang bobo ko, inaanto kasi ako. The receptor of putamino pallido external pathway, so yung receptor ng dopamine, kasi nag-release ng dopamine sa substantia nigra, yung dopamine magbabind kay putamen, ang receptor niya doon pag ang putamen nakakonekta kay globus pallidus externa, ang receptor ng dopamine doon ay D2. Therefore, putamen is inhibited. Dahil ininhibit mo, hindi siya magre-release ng GABA. Hindi siya magre-release ng GABA, hindi mai-inhibit si externa. Hindi mai-inhibit si externa, therefore, merong GABA. Diba? Hindi rin ma-inhibit si externa, therefore, merong GABA. GABA to subthalamus, inhibit the subthalamus, walang glutamate, walang magi-stimulate kay interna. Tapos, meron pang nirelease na GABA si externa, therefore, inhibit niya si externa. Hindi na nga siya stimulated, inhibited pa siya, so wala yung interna. Dahil inhibited siya, anong meron doon? Hindi siya magre-release ng GABA. Walang GABA, walang magi-inhibit kay kay thalamus. Walang mag-i-inhibit kay thalamus, disinhibited, magre-release siya ng dopamine. Eh di gagalaw ka na. Diba? O, gagalaw ka na. Eh paano yung effect ng dopamine sa putamino pallido interna? So yung part ng putamen na magko-communicate with globus pallidus interna, anong dopamine receptor meron doon? Dopamine 1. O, nagbind si dopamine kay dopamine 1 receptor present in putamen. Anong mangyayari? Eh di, hindi ba? GS yan. So, mai-stimulate niya si putamen na mag-release ng GABA. GABA will now act on globus pallidus interna. Hindi ngayon siya makakapag-release ng GABA. Ano ngayon ang mangyayari? Disinhibited na naman si thalamus, magre-release na naman siya ng glutamate kay cerebrum. So, pag may dopamine, commonly, generally speaking, ang interna mo is inhibited, yung externa mo is facilitated. So, basically, gagalaw ka ng gagalaw. Pag marami kang dopamine sa substantia nigra mo. Okay? Yun yung basal nuclei. So basically, yan yung basal nuclei. Na? Proceed tayo. Ito lang ulit yung diniscuss ko kanina. Basahin nyo kay Bernard-Levy. Okay? Yan yung direct pathway against indirect pathway. Ito yung direct pathway natin, yung globus pallidus interna down to thalamus. Yung externa is your indirect pathway. Ito, pag nasira ang direct, di puro ka hypokinetic disorder. Pag nasira naman ang indirect, puro ka hyperkinetic disorder. So, ito yung nangyayari sa Parkinson's disease pag diminished ang release ng pag naka-diminish ba't ayaw magsulat? Ayun. Pag diminished ang dopamine activity, mas marami yung dopamine activity niya. So, ano mangyayari? Diba? I-stimulate at inhibit niya ang putamen. Okay? Ganun yan. So, pag may substantia, pagka may Parkinson's disease, walang dopamine. Pag walang dopamine, anong mangyayari? Kumusta ang effect niya kay putamen papunta kay globus pallidus interna? Or should I say externa? Okay? So, dahil doon, walang dopamine na mag-i-inhibit kay G2, magre-release si putamen ng dopamine. Pag nag-release siya ng dopamine, then, naantok kasi ako, sorry. Si substantia nigra, walang dopamine na ni-release, walang nag-bind na dopamine kay putamen. Pagka yung putamen na yon connected sa globus pallidus externa, therefore, walang magbabind sa G2, sa G protein, sa G2 tuloy. Sa G2, sa dopamine 2 receptor, should I say. Walang nagbabind kay dopamine 2 receptor, which is GI associated. So, walang inhibit na putamen. Diba? Walang mag-inhibit na putamen. Walang mag-inhibit sa putamen, magre-release yan ng GABA. Pag nag-release yan ng GABA, kaya increase to, kay globus pallidus externa, ma-inhibit si externa. Ma-inhibit si externa, kumusta ngayon yung GABA kay subthalamus? Wala. Kumusta ngayon yung GABA kay globus pallidus externa? Wala. Dahil doon, si externa, magre-release ng GABA. Pag nag-release siya ng GABA, inhibit niya yung thalamus. Diba? Pag in-inhibit niya yung thalamus, ano mangyayari? Si thalamus hindi magre-release ng glutamate, wala kang increase activity. Kaya, decrease ang activity mo pagka walang dopamine, pag Parkinson's. O hindi lang yun. Walang dopamine na nag-bind kay putamen papunta kay globus pallidus interna. So, walang may stimulate. Hindi siya magre-release ng GABA kay globus pallidus interna. Dahil walang nag-release ng GABA kay interna, si interna magre-release ng GABA papunta kay thalamus. Pag na-inhibit na si subthalamus, o wala ding ulit na marirelease na glutamate kay cerebrum, di parte ka na ng mababagal, gumalaw. Kaya nga merong yon, stoop posture ang inyong mga pasyenteng may Parkinson's, di ba? As if may dala-dala daw silang cogwheel rigidity. So, as if may dala-dala silang wheelbarrow, if you know what a wheelbarrow is. Di ba? Pagka ganun, may dala-dala sila, para silang may dala-dalang wheelbarrow, tapos meron yang resting tremors. Commonly, yung resting tremors nila will be manifested on your thumb, your index finger, and your middle finger. Doon sila merong motor activities, involuntary resting tremors. Okay? Na pag nagsimula na silang gumalaw, nawawala na yung resting tremors sa mga mild to moderate cases of Parkinson's. Pag severe case ng Parkinson's ka, kahit na whether you are resting or you're performing an activity, there would be tremors. Okay? Yung mga dito. Ito naman, chorea. Pag chorea, kumusta ang subthalamus mo? Diminish ang activity. So wala kang glutamate papunta kay globus pallidus interna. So hindi mo siya ma-stimulate. Magre-release siya ng GABA. Diba? Tapos cyclical, o kaya magkakaroon ng mga involuntary motor activities. Kaya siya magiging hyperkinetic eventually. Kasi cyclical. So again, these are your different types of hyperkinetic disorders, your chorea, your valismus, and your atitosis. Pag chorea, ang problema, striate body. Kaya there is an involuntary dancing movements, yun yung strut. Commonly balikat and the back of the head yan, or the neck. Okay? Pag valismus naman, it destroys your lentiform nucleus. Or should I say, valismus. It's a lesion of the subthalamus. Ang hirap ng mag-isa na nagsasalita, inaantok. It's a lesion of your subthalamus. Involuntary motor activities of the upper and lower extremities. So, naninipa ka, nanghihiram ka ng ballpen, maya-maya, sinusuntok mo siya, but that is unintentional because you have valismus, hemi. Pag valismus kasi na parehong subthalamus, left and right, mahirap yun. Atitosis is due to the damage of your lentiform nucleus. Ito naman yung mga worm-like movements. Atitosis. Ito yung video. Dali lang, papakita ko sa inyo yung video na yan. Ako yung kumuha ng video. Siyempre, hindi ko pinaalam sa pasyente. Okay? The moment na nakita ko siya sa stage, sa tren actually, pagsakay ko ng LRT1. LRT1 ako sumakay niyan kasi nung nag-UUP pa ako, nag-PPGH pa ako. Pagsakay ko ng LRT1, kita ko kaagad siya, na-excite ako. Sabi ko, Korea! Di syempre, baka mamaya alam niya yung disease niya, yung sakit niya. Kaya anong sinabi ko? Vietnam! Diba? Malaysia, Thailand, gumano na lang ako. Para at least, kunwari, nagme-mention ako ng mga pangalan ng bansa. Okay? So, this is, pansinin ninyo yung pansinin nyo itong leeg niya. Itong ulo niya, pansinin nyo yan. Okay. Huh? Ba't nawala? Yan, naantok na naman. Nag-stop share. Bilang, ha? Ba't nawala? O, mali na naman yung shinare. Naantok na naman. Ang hirap ng ganito, mag-isa ka, hindi nagsasalita ang ako lang kausap ko, sarili ko lang. So ito, pansinin niyo ha. Ay, teka. Hindi ko pala in-optimize nung shinare ko. Ayan na, 2, 3, 4. Dahil sa ayan na. So, basically commonly, itong mga lesions na ito, this commonly occurred during birth. Okay. Nangyari yan nung pinanganak yung pasyente. Okay. Bakit? Yung clerk, yung intern na nagpapaanak, hindi maingat. O, kayo, magiging clerk, magiging intern kayo sa government hospital. So, pag nasa gobyernong hospital o whether it's on the private or government, iingatan ninyo yung mga bata. Kasi wala namang kasalanan yon kung humiyaw yung nanay. Huwag niyong basta-basta hilahin ang ulo. Okay? Baka mamaya, meron nang napapatid na blood vessel supplying the caudate and the putamen. Ang tendency is, ayan, meron siyang chorea. Diba? O. Kaya wag niyong basta-basta hinihila yung ulo ng bata pag nagpapaanak kayo. Ito naman yung atetosis. O. Ano naman yung atetosis?
बेचारा जिसको इच्छा होता है ना कि भाई हाँ बता पाते हैं कैसे नहीं
हाथ ऐसे करो थोड़ा
हाँ और दूर ले जाओ, हाथ दूर लाओ मेरे तरफ आओ।
जरा और आगे पीछे से आइए पीछे से आइए आइए
So, makikita ninyo yung atetosis na yan. Commonly, yan, pagka makikita ninyo itong mga anong tawag dito? Mga video. Okay. Commonly, mga Indian sila. I don't know what is in India. Kaya meron silang ganyang karamdaman. Perhaps the water or perhaps hindi maiingat yung OB-gynecologist doon. Tabi-tabi po, sorry po. Okay? So, akinesia, difficulty of initiating movement. Okay? So, nahirapan kang magsimula, nahirapan ka ring magtapos. Kaya pag naglalakad ka, yung mga pasyenteng may Parkinson's, humahawak yan sa gilid, sa railings, para makahinto sila. Or they will do some special techniques. Okay? Para makahinto sila. Bradykinesia is the slowliness or sluggishness of your motor activity. These are common among paralysis agitans. O, paralysis agitans daw. Ano naman yon? Parkinson's. Sandali lang. Parkinson's. Ay, Parkinson's ba yun? Mali pala yun. Nailagay ko sandali. Saan ba yung Parkinson's? Ito dapat yun. Oh, ito naman yung Parkinson's disease. Tignan mo, hirap sila. Yung daliri niya, yung kabila. Eh, humahawak sila. Kasi, ayan, tingnan niyo yung resting frame niya siya. Pag in tendency, ito kasi, dito. These are complicated with cerebellar damage at the same time. Sa mga severe forms of Parkinson's disease yung mga yan. Kaya kung minsan, kahit gumagalaw, meron silang activities. So, basically, it's not only resting but also intentional. But intentional tremors kasi, may problema ng cerebellum. Nanginginig sila. Kaya may kita, sa bangko, pinapapagod na tayo. Pag oras na tumanda ka na, tulad ko matanda na ako, every 2 or 3 years, sigurado nila bago yung firma ko sa bangko. Okay, believe it or not, nagbabago ang penmanship natin as we grow old. These are examples of patients with Parkinson's disease. Hirap silang mag-simula. So those are examples of Parkinson's. Okay? Balik tayo. Punta tayo sa cerebellum. Pag cerebellum, okay, it regulates movement, it regulates posture. So, postural yan. So, ibig sabihin, yung pag-upo nyo ngayon, yung pagtayo nyo, okay, they are also responsible for motor learning. Kaya lahat ng motor activities natin, it is not stored in your cerebrum. It is stored in your cerebellum. Kaya, tuwing nagkakaroon ng Alzheimer's, for example, marunong pa rin maglakad, marunong pa rin tumakbo, marunong pa rin mag-drive, marunong pa rin magluluto ang pasyenteng merong cognitive impairment. An example of cognitive impairment is Alzheimer's disease. Marunong pa rin sila. The problem is, hindi nila alam ang ingredients pag magluluto sila. The moment mag-drive sila, maglakad o tumakbo, hindi na nila alam paano bumalik sa bahay nila kasi nga meron silang cognitive impairment, and that includes, in your cognitive impairment, that includes memory. So, may problema sa memory pagka Alzheimer's. Pero, walang problema sa motor activity because your motor activity has been stored in your cerebellum. Kaya pag nagda-damage ka ng cerebellum, doon nagkakaroon ng problema sa motor activity. Because there will be no coordination, the rate, the range, the force of and direction of your force of muscle contraction, the direction of movement, wala siyang, it is impaired. Unlike your basal nuclei, cerebellar nuclei talaga. Yung basal ganglia ang tawag ninyo, pero ito totoong cerebellar nuclei. That will be from the most medial. Ito yung most medial. I'm sorry. Anong ginasabi ko? Okay. That will be, this is the most lateral. And this is the most medial. Ang bobo ko. Naantok ako. Magbe-break ako pagkatapos ng cerebellum. So that's the most lateral, your dentate. That's the largest. And that will be the most active, your dentate. Your dentatofugal fibers. Okay. Ito yung cerebellum ninyo. Sayang, hindi nyo sila nakikita personally, face to face. Okay. Ayan yung horizontal fissure ninyo so that it divides now your superior semilunar from your inferior semilunar lobule. Diba? So this is the vermis, yung cut section ng vermis, di ba? Ganda-ganda. Ayan yung lingula nyo, nasira na. Yung inyong central lobule, yung culmen, yung declive, yung folium, diba? Yung tuber, yung pyramis, yung uvula. Okay? Tapos, ito posterolateral fissure, o edi ito yung nodulus na. Diba? O, alam ninyo na, hanggang culmen, anterior lobe yan ng cerebellum. Okay? From your declive down to your uvula, that will be your posterior lobe. At yung flocculonodulus, edi flocculonodular lobe yan. Diba? So again, you will see here the connections of your cerebellum with your inferior oblique, spinal cord, and vestibular nuclei. Sila yung inputs. And so with the inputs coming from the cerebrum through the pons. O, di ba? The connection from pons to the cerebellum is your middle cerebellar peduncle. Di ba? Your brachium pontis. Kaya pag may sira sa spinal cord, nagkakaroon din ng imbalance. Di ba? Remember Romberg's. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na Romberg sign. Romberg's is for spinal cord. Pag sensory ang function ang lost or sensory ang damage on the spinal cord, then paano nyo nga yan piniperform yung Romberg's test? Oh, you will let your patient stand, okay, 1 foot apart yung kanyang feet, tapos hands, upper extremities on the side, tapos looking forward lang sila with eyes open. Eventually, you would make your patient close the eyes with the same position. Tapos, you note the swaying. Make sure pag ginawa nyo ang Romberg's, nakasupport kayo kasi the moment matumba yan at mabagok at mamatay, kasalanan ninyo. Diba? O mabagok, ma-stroke, kasalanan ninyo. So basically, susuportahan nyo sila on the sides para at least kung may swaying man, makakatch nyo sila always. Sides and front and back. Paano po mag-isa lang ako? Maghanap kayo ng kasama ninyo na magbabantay pag pinagawa nyo ang Romberg's test. Diba? Pag sila nag-swaying habang naka-close ang eyes, tapos biglang pagbukas nila, nag-correct, then that means that the damage is spinal cord. Then that is a true positive, that's a positive Romberg's test or Romberg's sign. What about pagka nagsisway yan, pagka nakapikit, tapos pagdilat niya, hindi na siya nagsisway pa rin siya. Then that means that's a false positive Romberg's test. It means that the damage is cerebellum pagka ganon. Ibig sabihin, may problema sa motor activities, hindi sa sensory. Okay? And then, yan yung outputs ninyo. Sabi nga natin, it's coming from deep cerebellar nuclei, particularly the ones from the dentate nucleus. Papunta, it forms communication with thalamic nuclei, particularly your ventrolateral nucleus of the thalamus. Okay. Your ventrolateral nucleus of the thalamus. Okay. Ganun yun. Ayaw na namang mag-move. Oh, ito yung divisions ninyo. Anatomically, you divide them anterior, posterior, and flocculonodular. Physiologically, we divide them as archicerebellum for your what? Vestibulo cerebellum. Spinocerebellum is paleo, and cerebro or corticocerebellum is neocerebellum. Ano po yung mga pinagsasabi ninyo? In neuroanatomy, you divide them horizontally. In physiology, we divide them vertically. Actually, kahit yung mga neurophysio books by Mantor and Gatz, ang division niya rin ay hindi horizontal, vertical din. This is the vermis. Okay. So this vermis is what? In communication with your medial descending pathways. While this portion here, okay, your paravermal, para meaning beside the vermis, okay, they will communicate with lateral descending pathways. With lateral descending pathways. And of course, you'll have your lateral hemispheres. Your hemispheric lobe, which will be, sabi nga natin kanina, will be in communication with your cerebrum. Okay? yung particularly with planning of motor activities. Okay? The spinocerebellum is the paliocerebellum. Okay? So, makikita nyo dito, the hemispheric cerebellum has both anterior and posterior. Anterior and posterior. Okay? Para makip natin ang ating balance in its optimum function. So that there will be optimum function of our cerebellum. Diba? And then, so, ano yung responsibility ng inyong, how do you call this? Spinocerebellum? They regulate activities of the distal extremities. So, upper and lower yon. Diba? Tapos, ito ulit yung flocculonodular, the nodulus and the flocculus. Para saan sila? They will detect or they will be responsible for vestibulo-ocular movements, yung mga ganon. Diba? So, sila yung responsible sa mga vestibulo-ocular equilibrium, learning-induced changes in vestibulo-ocular reflexes. Diba? Kasi yung iba, pag nasisilaw, natutumba. Diba? Spinocerebellum, it's the intermediate cerebellum, okay? Responsible for proprioception and the spinal cord receives proprioception and spinal cord inputs. Okay? And it will also receive or regulate the distal limb. Sabi nga natin, they regulate the distal extremities and they will smooth and coordinate ongoing movements, yung spinocerebellum. And corticocerebellum, sabi nga natin kanina, they are involved with planning of motor activities with your planning of and programming of motor activities with your cerebrum, with your supplementary motor area. Okay. Yan lang ulit yung divisions ng spinal cord ninyo. Makikita ninyo, they are already vertical. Vertical na yung kanilang subdivisions. Okay. Ito yung mga diseases nila. You'll have ataxia, dysmetria, kaya finger to nose test yang dysmetria, diacodocokinesia, commonly pinapractice yan, alternating hand movements, okay? Dorsal ventral yan, di ba? Your decomposition of movement, dati pag nagsulat ng letter A yan, ganyan. Ngayon, pag nagsulat ng letter A, ganyan na. So, bakit? Meron silang problema sa motor activities. Dysarthria. Ito yung mga pag pumapasok, and then you'll have the intention tremors. At rest, you are okay. However, once you are what? Once you start moving, makikita mo may tremors na siya. Okay? Kaya intention tremors. Pwedeng S, pwedeng T. Intention tremors. Mal-equilibrium, disequilibrium, astasia, asthenia, atonia, o mga self-explanatory yan. Loss of muscle endurance pag astasia. May dala-dala ka, maya-maya, yung muscle mo hindi na kaya. Mahuhulog na siya. Asthenia, ito yung maaarte. Okay? Wala daw muscle strength. Oh my gosh, I cannot carry this. Kindly carry naman, oh. Di ba? Oh. Yan yung mga yon. And then, of course, atonia or hypotonia, there is absent or diminished muscle tone. And then we go to brainstem. Oh, medyo mahaba-haba ito. Sandali lang ha. Medyo inaantok talaga ako. Kailangan makuha natin ng maayos ito. Kaya stop ko muna para may second part ng video. Thank you.